Did you know that this week is School Social Work Week, and it honors the crucial role that school social workers play in student success and well-being? School social workers help students navigate mental health challenges, behavioral concerns, and social issues while supporting teachers, parents, and school administrators. I think it's time for us to dive a little bit deeper into this and how our social workers help our students right here in West Bloomfield. So joining us right here live on The Splash is school social worker from Scotch Elementary in West Bloomfield School District, Claudia Rodgers. Thank you for being here.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
This is very interesting, the role of a social worker in school. I'm very, very interested, but I want to start with the basic. Your inspiration. What inspired you to become a school social worker?
Well, this was not my first career choice. I've always had a passion for education and supporting families. However, I had an unconventional start in a school setting and have really enjoyed it and found that it's one of my passions.
Interesting, interesting. So what do you enjoy most about your role specifically at Scotch Elementary?
Our kids and our families are amazing. We have a great staff here. We work collaboratively together to support our students. We've been seeing a lot of really great student progress in terms of social emotional well-being and academic achievement. So it's really nice to see that positivity here at Scotch.
Okay, thank you for that. And I like that you enjoy your work with that being said, right? So I want to talk about this, your actual work and what you do and how it affects some of the students there as a social worker. How does your work support students in West Bloomfield who are facing those mental health challenges, behavioral challenges, whether it's at home or it's at school?
Well, so no day is ever the same here. I don't think that would be the case in any school setting for a
Hmm.
social worker. Every day is kind of a new challenge. In terms of just supporting the whole child. We really work to getting to know our students, ensuring that they're in the appropriate classroom so that they have developed positive relationships with their peers and their teachers, making sure that we're staying connected to families, communicating back and forth about behavioral challenge, celebrating successes, really working collaboratively as a school team to help make sure that our students are feeling supported, but also our teachers are feeling supported, supporting some of our students that have, some of the most significant needs in our school environment.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's what we're doing here
Okay.
in a school setting.
Okay, my curiosity is starting to kick in, and I got to ask some questions now. You mentioned someone coming to your office for behavioral mental health challenges or things like that. You say you get to know them and kind of walk them through it. How do you get to know these students? Like, what does that look like?
So I'm in a K-5 building. So again, never a dull day, always a new exciting challenge. Really just getting to know students and their interests has been something that's been really helpful for our younger students. Doing that through play
Hmm.
is something that we do pretty consistently. Talking about their interests, getting to know their families.
Okay.
We do a lot of play-based conversations with our students, that we do a lot of social skills in terms of modeling how to socially interact with one another. So that's really how we're getting to know our kids. And then as we get to know them better,
Right.
really kind of identifying goals and areas of need that we can focus on.
Okay, cool. Off to a great start. Loving it so far. With me right here live on The Splash, school social worker for Scotch Elementary School, Claudia Rodgers, talking about School Social Work Week and the work that they do for our children right here in our community. Now, here's something that I think we all want to know. School is completely different from what it was 10, 20, 15 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago before the pandemic. So with that being said, what are some of the biggest mental health challenges and social challenges that you see students facing today?
I think most consistently, we're just seeing that social interactions have been impacted by a lot of the external things that are happening in our world. So, really helping students identify how to advocate for themselves, how to engage their peers in an appropriate manner, making sure that they're not only are they advocating for themselves, but also they're supporting their peers.
Hmm.
So that might mean having conversations with teachers about needs of other students, or ensuring that students have access to the things that they need at home. As a school social worker, we're doing a lot of kind of case management and navigating with community groups. So that's a component of our jobs, to make sure that students and families have access to what they need, so that our kids are learning when they're at school.
Okay, okay, interesting. You kind of basically spoke on the aspect, I would think, the social challenges and things like that. And I can kind of go down a rabbit hole asking more questions with that, but we'll just save that for another time. I want to ask you, let's just say you're in school a regular day, or you say it's no normal day, and let's say you notice something in a child, right? Are there any key signs that a student might need to speak with a school social worker?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of us are well versed in those kids that have kind of those externalizing big behaviors that we're seeing. Maybe they're yelling, or they're getting in fights, or they're not getting along with their peer groups, or
Hmm.
maybe they just aren't compliant, or participating in school or learning activities. So those are kids that we see, and we know that they need some assistance and support. But one thing that we're also concerned about is those kids that are kind of those internalizing kids. Those are kind of red flags too. Kids that may have engaged in activities that they once enjoyed, and they're not doing that as much. Or maybe they're kids that kind of fly under the radar. So they're quiet, they follow directions, but maybe they seem a little bit socially isolated from their peer group, or they're not communicating. We want to check in with those kids too.
Yeah, yeah. You really got to have some type of I don't want social detector or something like that to kind of dig through the stuff that they don't say or they may not show, but you just kind of, like you said, get to know them, ask some questions, know their interests and things like that. So I appreciate that. With me right here live on the Splash, Claudia Rodgers, school social worker for Scotch Elementary, talking about School Social Work Week. Don't want to hold you up too much longer, essentially. Just want to ask very, very briefly, talk about the work that it takes for you all to collaborate, social workers to collaborate with parents and teachers to make an effective environment for these students to get better.
So that's like the crux of our job. We're supporting students by supporting their needs. And to do that, we have to work collaboratively with our team. I am super blessed to have an amazing team here at Scotch of service providers in our special education department, but also our general education teachers and administrators are amazing. We are in constant communication with one another. If a teacher sees something that they're like, can you check in? They're able to communicate that to us, and we're able to act pretty swiftly. Same thing with our parents. If our parents are identifying some concerns and they share that with the teacher may share it with one of the school social workers that we have here, or somebody in our administrative or special ed department. So really it's that like open communication, and ensuring that when we are talking about the unique needs or deficits that kids are exhibiting, that we're assuming positive intent, that we're talking about things that are really tough and they
Yeah.
may be problem areas, but we're working towards restoring those areas and helping them be more successful at school and at home, so that they're contributing to our society effectively.
Yeah, prime example of it takes a village to raise a child. We definitely appreciate your time and your information. Any last messages you would like to give to the community, you would like to give to students or teachers, or just information about school social workers or school social week in general?
It's an exciting week for us. We don't necessarily have the opportunity to kind of stop what we're doing and celebrate, but
Yeah.
it is an opportunity for us to collaborate with one another. It's an opportunity for us to celebrate our successes as a district, and it's really nice that West Bloomfield has been so supportive to the social workers here.
And we appreciate everything that you do to support our future leaders of the community. Thank you again for your time. Once again, school social worker from Scotch Elementary School, West Bloomfield School District, Claudia Rodgers. Thank you again.
Thank you.